Hey everyone, this is Nick Harvey from the OpenShift Online team, and in this video, I'm going to show you how to use Git on your local Windows machine to manage changes to your application and then deploy them on OpenShift. If this is your first time using Git, this video is going to be perfect for you, and we'll walk you through step by step. Now, in order for you to get the most out of this video, you'll need to have both the RHC tools and Git already installed on your local machine. If you haven't done so already, don't worry, I got another video already prepped for you. You can click below and the link right there will take you right to it. Before we actually start diving into the commands, first let's start by going over Git. Now, for those of you who don't know, Git is a free and open source distributed version control system. And what makes Git so awesome is that it allows groups of people to work on the same documents, which are often code, at the same time, and best of all, without stepping on each other's toes. Now, this video isn't really meant to teach you the full proper Git workflow or make you some sort of Git expert. This is simply just to get you going on OpenShift. Therefore, after watching this video, I would highly recommend you spend a few minutes of your time becoming more familiar with Git, and I promise you it will pay off in the future. I'll even throw some links down below in the description just for your convenience. Now that we have an idea of what Git is and its benefits, let's take a look at the workflow we'll be going through today so you can keep that in the front of your mind while we're executing some of the commands. The first step is we'll start off by creating an app in OpenShift. And for the purpose of this tutorial, we're just going to call it app, and then it'll be version 1. We'll then clone it to our local machine, and we'll move on to making some changes to our code. Once we're done with our changes, we'll add them to the Git repo and then commit them to the branch. And then finally, we'll push them back up to OpenShift and let OpenShift take care of some of the building to end up with a V2 or version 2 of our application. All right, let's move on to some of the commands. First thing we need to do is create our application. To do that, I'm going to type rhc app create, give it a cartridge. For this example, we'll use Ruby, and then an application name. We'll just call it Hello World. Then hit enter. This will create my application on OpenShift and get everything ready for us. So I'll let that finish and we'll end up with the output you see here. Now, a lot of things are going on here, but really I just want to take a minute to explain this output right here. This is very useful for those of you who are just getting started. You'll see here that we have a URL for our application, an SSH URL for when we want to connect into our gear, and then finally the Git URL that we can use to clone our repo. Now, when we ran this rhc app create command, it automatically cloned the repo for us. So if I just do a dir on my machine, you'll see that my Hello World application was automatically cloned. So if we refer back to our workflow picture, you'll notice that this first step was already taken care of for us. Now we can move on to making some changes. To start making some changes, I'm going to go ahead and minimize my command prompt and open up my file directory. I'll go into the directory where my application is stored, which for me is in users, Nick, and a Git folder I created. And you'll see here that this is my Hello World application that was cloned to my local machine. I'll open this up and there are my files maintained within Git. To make some changes, I'm going to open up this config URL file. I'm going to open up this config.ru file and open it with more options. Just use Notepad for now. I'm going to scroll down to this first heading right here, and I'm going to say my Git changes in action. Once my changes are done, I'm going to go ahead and save my Notepad file, close it, and open back up my command prompt. Now that we've made those changes, it's time to import them into Git and then commit them to our branch. To do that, I need to change directory into my Hello World application, then type git add -A, which simply does a git add on all changes that were made. Hit enter. It'll just return back just like it did. And that means that the files are added in. And then I'll do git commit -am, give it a quick message, changing header. And before I hit enter, I'll go ahead and take a second to explain. The git commit command is saying I want to take my changes and officially inject them into the branch. The -a and m flag say I want to commit all for the -a, and then an m is to provide a quick message saying something like I'm changing the header. It's always good to include a good description of your changes here so that your teammates can easily see what you've done. Let's jump back over to our graph just so we can review what's been done so far. We've cloned our application, made changes, and then added and committed them back into Git. The very last thing we need to do is simply push our changes up to OpenShift. I went ahead and executed a CLS to clear our terminal screen just so you guys can get a clearer picture of what's about to happen. Now that we've added and committed our changes, it's time to execute a Git push. These will take our changes and upload them up to OpenShift, and OpenShift will take these changes and rebuild our application. Take a look. You'll see here that it's uploaded my changes to OpenShift, and now OpenShift is stopping the Ruby cartridge, waiting for that to finish, building in those new changes, and then finally redeploying my application. And that's it, it's done. So what I'll do is open up a browser and go to my application, which is helloworld-nickspace.rhcloud.com. And you can see here that that header we changed earlier is now in the latest version of my application. And there you have it. You're done. You've made your changes and pushed them into OpenShift. You're ready to get started. Thank you for watching this video and keep an eye out for more.